Namaskar, hello, and welcome to this inaugural edition of Nurturing for NEET program, which is being brought to you by Rethink India Institute in association with Arogyam Institute of Integrated Medical Sciences. Uh, Both the institutes have created a platform called Topper Stuff, and which is all about learning from and this entire program is to make you a futuristic medical professional. And this program will be led by Dr. Surbhi Vash Mittal, who is a medico par excellence, who happens to be a medico from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. She was the All India rank one in the then NEET, the pre medical examinations of those times, which were the CBSE PMT. And Dr. Surbi, apart from being a practicing general physician who focuses on preventive, protocolized, and integrative medicine, she also has a penchant for teaching, for sharing her experiences for the last 20 odd professional years as to how to become a medical professional. At times, our coaching industry, it is all very many academicians are driving the same because scoring some marks is important. But this nurturing for NEET program, apart from the nuances, the nitty gritties, the tricks and the tactics of cracking those 3 hours of grueling examination papers, it also intends to give you a larger perspective as to what a particular profession is all about. And I am Raghav Mittal. I would be assisting Dr. Surbhi in this mission of hers to create futuristic medical professionals who are empathetic, who have empathy, and who are what the profession needs in future. And so over to Dr. Surbhi for her opening remarks on this inaugural session, and then we will take it on further. Yeah.
So, namaskar, and we are embarking on a journey on how to become a futuristic medical professional, how to become a doctor, nurturing for NEET program. So, we will start by this that the very basis and reason why you are becoming a doctor, why you want to become a doctor, is because you want to heal, isn't it? It's because you want to serve humanity, you want to alleviate humanity of mankind, of the suffering, of the diseases, of the various pain problems. You want to be a person who heals. So biology, of course, in this from this standpoint, assumes a lot of importance. And biology is or a life sciences. You have to have firstly the appreciation for the human body, for the living ecosystem, for nature, for animals, for the entire flora and fauna, and understand that how human being is positioned in amidst this milieu. And of course, then you understand microorganisms, diseases, bacteriology, virology, and so many other subjects, which you will study in the course of your NEET and then in course of your medical studies. Chemistry, physics, of course, assume a very important role. We believe in multidisciplinarity, interlinked, topics wherein biochemistry is a subject in the first year of medical sciences, and similarly physiology, where physics and biology come into play. Very interesting journey. I'm sure you all would be really motivated and enthused by this program also, and your journey would be much meaningful.
So this program, we will be delivering it in a very unique model whereby we both, I happen to be a computer science and engineering uh, person from IIT Kharagpur, and so being an engineer, I do have inroads into how the Jad Prakriti works, the physics, the chemistry, and obviously Dr. Surbhi is the doyen in biology, but we both will be teaching these three subjects. If you see the structure of NEET, 50% of the weightage is given to biology, the both strands, the zoology and botany. They have and then the remaining 50% weightage goes to physics and chemistry. Now, physics and chemistry, they need a basic foundation, because being a doctor, you need to have those foundational principles in line. And from a medical perspective, they look at the kind of questions which will be posed to you, because if you are embarking upon becoming a medico, so start assuming yourself as a medico right from this moment, as Dr. Surbi says, that what is your purpose, because purpose defines the passion. So you have to really be passionate for almost a decade to really come out of a very phenomenal medical professional, mesmerizing medical professional. And with the advent of technology into the medical space, a whole lot of transformation is now happening. And as a part of this program, we would be training you, we would be nurturing you rather, because training is again becoming a kind of an artificial intelligence training program, but you are the humans out here. So we'll be nurturing you for a range of healthcare careers which you can embark upon. So getting an MBBS degree in the larger healthcare spectrum, MBBS degree is obviously the jewel in the crown. We all want to become an, and medical profession is one where specialization comes after 5 years of grueling details. In engineering, the very first year you enter up into any of the IITs and IITs, any of the engineering colleges for that matter, you get to choose as to which discipline, which branch of engineering, which branch of technology you have to study. But medicine has a different dynamics, because medicine is time critical. Medicine is it's one of the finest machines, human body, if we can say from a technologist perspective. Even the technologists, the OCR, optical character recognition software engineers, they try to study the human eyes, the kind of algorithms which are out there, how we study the dynamics of the organs, and also how our human brain comprehends that. So all the technology which is being developed, it gets inspired phenomenally from the human body. So in the medical discipline, you try to study, you try to master the human body as an integrated whole. And then after 5 years of those Prof 1, Prof 2, Prof 3, Dr. Surbi is the doyen, is the expert. She will be talking more and more on that. And then you get to choose as to which is specialization you have to enter into. And then super specialization, and then it goes on and on. And medicine, as we all know, it's a lifelong tapascharya. It's a lifelong practice. And today, with the advent of technology, yes, the effort on the human brains or the human competence, it is aided phenomenally by the well crafted machines. But still, what a trained human brain, what a trained doctor can do, what he or she can discern. There is a lot of, because doctors have to deal with humans, with patients, and from various strata of the society. So a lot of interpersonal skills are required. We engineers can get away with that because we are dealing with machines, but then doctors from the very day one, they have to treat, and in very painful situation. These are very, so that is a context. If your empathy is very high, if you have a commitment to serve, not just to make money. Money is just incidental. It happens whatever you do in your life. The power, position, it all comes by way of your profession. So the intent to serve is something which is so very vital. I think that is with which, and as a teaching pedagogy, the physics, chemistry, and biology. So we'll be spending almost 50% of our time. Perhaps we would be covering. We will be taking jointly and in an interdisciplinary manner. So we will be covering the biology subject first in uh, in a go, and we suggest that all our viewers, all our students who are enrolled with us, they master the core subject first, because that is the biology part of it all. And then we will parallelly take on chemistry and physics. We will have a branching tree. The central, we can say the central pole is biology, and around left and right, we will keep on touching chemistry and physics, because developing an interest in the subject. And that's where a practicing professional like Dr. Surbi comes into play, that we would be studying titration in our classrooms, right? But then how titration comes into play in medicine, the entire dimensions of pathology, the entire chemical analysis which happens, because without the vital tests, you might have all seen it in your households, as to when a blood sample is taken and a whole screen is done, a whole testing is done. So that's where the fundamentals of chemistry comes into play, biochemistry, all that stuff. So we will try to keep this entire program very interesting, very hands-on. And yes, the entrance examination, cracking it all in 3 hours, whatever we get the time, will remain on the top of the priority. But then we would really like to impregnate the MQ, the medicinal quotient, in all of you, as to what it makes a medical. A lot of case studies we will try to bring to you, and try to extrapolate from the concepts we are learning. See, there are subjects, then we have chapters, and in every chapter we have a lot of concepts. So how a concept goes on in your journey to become a medical doctor, we'll try to extrapolate it out there. And we will also go back and forth from one chapter to another one. And we have also in our as a part of our journey to try to create clusters of chapters. There are chapters which are just at the awareness level, at the information level, where you have to master that basic information. You have to keep it in your mind. You have to, in a simple sense, memorize that. Then there are chapters which have a lot of appreciation level. Whatever knowledge you acquire out of that, but you have to appreciate that in multiple contexts. And third is the application driven chapters. So we'll give you the entire baseline, and this entire module we will be having a lot of technological backbone to help it, to help you practice, to help you memorize. And then we also would be having some live sessions as a part of this program, whereby you can interact, you can pose questions. We will be having some technological communication tools also, wherever any part of it all. And one core thing I would like to just put it over here, that comprehension is the core of acquiring skills in any domain. And the future, we are all talking about the fourth industrial revolution, where the convergence of technologies is happening. And this convergence of technologies is also interfacing with the biological world, with the real natural world. How the botanical word, the zoological word is happening, and artificial intelligence is a mimicry of the human intelligence. So that interface, we will try to look at it, and more will get clear. So try to see these lectures, try to see not as lectures, but as just very interesting small modules, and we will try to keep them very small, very crisp. And let me just give you an idea as to how we want to capture it across. I'm just opening up the PDF of your class 11th biology textbook, which is out here. I've just started with the contents page. And we would not be making very fancy notes, animations, which are somewhere in the very first principles approach we want to adopt, because that's where the beauty lies in. And that's where Dr. Surbi acquired her All India Rank 1 through it. Because see, reading the text, deciphering the text is of vital importance. Nobody, there is an adage which says that you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. So we nowhere claim that we can program your minds with some of our fancy dramatizations in the classroom, and it will all come to you like a USB transfer. No, it will not happen. Yes, we will decomplicate the whole stuff, whatever is out there. We will help you that, oh, this is a tougher one to comprehend, this is a moderate one, and this is a simpler one. So our job comes when there are dense paragraphs, when there are very intertwined and intricate language which has to be deciphered upon. And then we will go back and forth from the practice problems, linking the questions asked in the NEET examinations, because that's a very eminent board of stalwarts who compose, like musical compositions. They compose these questions to unravel the deeper learning in you, the deeper understanding in you, right? So our job is to decomplicate these texts, link these texts with the level, with the kind of questions which are posed out there. But the foundation of it all, it would not be an exaggeration to say it's all in the textbook. So if you can really take up a set of colored pens with you, we will try to do the readings with you. But then at the end of the day, it has to come into your cerebral framework, your neural network, your personal memory has to really store it all in a semantic framework. Many of the terms you might we are talking from a very advanced level of being professionals. Many of the terms might not be so very conversant from the session one, but I would say patience. Doctors say ki you see patience. Actually, it is a moniker. It's a self reflection on the medical professional himself or herself. That, oh doctor, please be patient with the patients who are coming with so much of pain and agony. Because if you are patient, then only you will be able to diagnose the disease which is ailing this human body. So with this prayerful mode, let's look at for the class 11th biology. We'll start with that. Then we will come to the class 12th. We don't want to overburden you with a lot of gimmickry, which happens, so this, that, analysis, and all. We will keep on doing it, but initially, let's keep it very plain, simple, blank. So, one is a foreword. We will be reading it out because that expresses the deep message what our experts want to say. Then the rationalization of the content in the textbook, we will read that also, and then it's quite a bulky one. And then a note for the teachers and students. I don't know how many of your teachers have actually read this very beautiful prose, I would say, which sounds more like poetry as well, because here the entire spirit of the textbook is enunciated by the expert committee. So we will be going through, we'll be reading them in module by module. Then they have a unit one. Unit one is all about diversity in the living world. तो चैतन्य जीवन में क्या है, we'll try to become bilingual as well. This is more for an audience which chaste English would be the core, but then somewhere Hindi, which is the lingua franca in the northern part of the country largely, and obviously it's the Rashtra Bahulya Bhasha, we can say so. So 54 odd pages of this textbook are dedicated to this unit one, which has four chapters. So first target and challenge we will try to pose to you, because every module will have corresponding self-assessment, I would say, tests. These are not tests, they are self-assessments. How much have you grasped of the content? How much has gone into your memory? How much? So macro to micro, that would be our approach. तो ये चार चैप्टर्स के नाम हैं, how many pages are there, how many concepts. So we will try to drill you down to that, because जब तक पता नहीं होगा कि how much we have to master, how we will master it all. So we have enough time. 2 years is a great time. We are starting from grade 11th biology. And so the living word, chapter one, you can see around 7 to 8 pages. Then biological classification, any domain, any subject we embark upon, it starts with the classification of it all. How we classify. Uh, like in the chemistry, the Mendeleev table is there. You classify the elements based on certain criteria, right? So, in fact, in your classrooms, when you will go, the medical discipline is also classified into, oh, what kind of a doctor you are. Are you a general physician? Are you a cardiology? Are you a orthopedic? Whatever, whatever. Then botany and zoology in one go. So the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. And zoology, कई बार हम भूल जाते हैं how to remember zoology. We all go to the zoo. Zoo comprises of animals. So whatever is concerned to animals is zoology. And botany, the reverse of it. So these are the small tricks for memory aids, we can say. And the plant kingdom is all about botany. So both of them we have to learn. Yes, beyond plants and beyond animals, we go to study the human body. So, but the class 11th biology, which is a convergence of whatever we've been studying from 6th, 7th, 8th, then 9th and 10th. So 11th and 12th is a quite an advanced level. So this foundation will help us in understanding the human body, because medicine is all about humans. So moving forward, the unit two is all about structural organization in plants and animals. How the plants and animals are structurally organized. Again, it's a bulky 30 odd page unit. So page mein number इसलिए बता रहा हूँ कि it tells us how much complex it is, how much we have to devour, how much we have to digest. So it has three chapters: morphology of flowering plants, then anatomy of flowering plants, structural organizations in animals. One of the core things is biology. In fact, the medicinal field will pose a barrage of new terminology, very dense terminology, and in order to pronounce them it will be tough, and in order to memorize them, the spellings of it, because somewhere or the other, at least in your board examinations, you have to know, because these are the longhand examinations, and all the mbbs papers, they are all longhand. So NEET is just an MCQ one where you don't need, but then you cannot miss your fundamental training in terms of drawing the diagrams, because they will be needed in your medical examinations, depicting them across. Even if you to use simulations for that matter, it's fine, but then handwriting and hand drawing, it cannot be done away with. One of the reasons students pick up, I am good at drawing, so I can draw a right ventricle, left ventricle, kind of depiction. So that skill set, we assume, is there. And one more thing we want to put it across, that this nurturing for NEET program from Arogyam Institute of Medical Sciences is in conjunction with your school studies. So we would like to say that don't bunk your biology classes in your schools. Your eminent faculty members out there, they are really laying out one of the foundations, get their classes, then on top of it, you devour these lectures of ours, these modules of ours, and then get into practice. Because coaching or training is all about practice, practice, and practice. So once you have laid out, and it's an iceberg model of learning, let me tell you very frankly. So iceberg, we all know that three-fourths or two-thirds is under the water, and whatever looks on the top is just a minuscule portion of the whole reality. So the theoretical foundations, they constitute whatever is under the water, and whatever we practice is actually the all the coaching institutions or all the gimmickry which happens in the entire industry per se, it goes over there. So first principles is the best one. So you will not be at a loss if you develop a very strong theoretical foundations, if you go with the basics, and especially biology, because there is a lot of content out there. There is not much of numericals, not much of tricks or things like that, because as a medical professional, you need to have a lot of diagnosis in your brain. Whatever AI might come through, but a trained medical mind is what the world would be looking at. So anatomy and structural organization animal, that will be unit 2. Then unit 3, it's structure and functions of the cell, because cell is the basic unit. So we are giving you a macro view, and then we will be going to the last mile of the micro view, and then we will go again with a macro view, and we will also have an integral, intertwined, interconnected view, because in our cerebrums, how our brain cells are all linked up, how the knowledge is actually stored. The best of the neuro linguistic scientists, they are trying hard as to how this nature created brain is actually it actually stores knowledge, applies it across. But then this macro, micro, and interconnected, intertwined approach will make it a very lovely portion of knowledge in you, and you will be able to process it very fast, and attain your intended results. So again, it's a bulky 3 chapter.
In fact, I would like
Yeah.
to come in here and say, that biology, especially, when we are studying, talking about biology, is a subject when you read, you understand, and you memorize, you create mind maps, in your brain. You understand and you visualize things. When we're talking of morphology and anatomy of flowering plants, ask yourself, give your questions, what are all the flowering plants I know? What are all their features? Where have I seen, an angiosperm or a gymnosperm? Ask yourself those questions. So yesterday I went, when you go out to visit some place or some on tourist visit, you may come across various species of plants, animals. So apply it in your daily life. The more you will think and apply, just don't limit it to your books, understand,
So,
enjoy it,
so
relish it.
don't imprison yourself in your study chamber alone. Go out to the botanical garden, go out to the zoos, get in touch with the real world. The virtual world is, let's leave it to the engineers largely, but the medicals are the ones who will be dealing with humans, with the real world for that matter, on a day-to-day basis. That's lovely, Dr. Survi. That comes truly from experience. So cell, which is the unit of life, we have some idea, but at a higher level, this textbook touches upon. Then biomolecules. In the physics or in chemistry, we all study about atom molecules and the lattice structure, things like that. But then biological structures too have got their own gradations, from the elemental atomized node to the larger superstructure, the ultra complicated human body, whatever we say, and then the biospheres, the ecospheres, all those things what we are studying today, the environmental health days. So it's an integral whole, the whole domain of consciousness. I think nobody better can appreciate and unfold it than the biologist for that matter. So we need to have a very specialized view, but then we also have to have a very macro view. So macro to micro journey has to be all out there, and we want to have an experiential domain. And your formal school, nothing better than your formal school, which can help you in this journey of the experiential learning, which is at the core of becoming a mesmerizing medico for life. Then cell cycle and cell division, because once you have a fresh breeze, when you breathe in that fresh breeze, I think a lot of learning birds open up on your own. Then unit 4 is all about plant physiology. It's intertwined. If you see how the chapters are organized, see, the very expert panel has gone to really curate these textbooks, and they have to be really treated with a lot of respect. In our Indic pantheon, it says Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. So we have the Shraddha, we have the devotion. Whatever we have said, this comes from very bona fide people, because sometimes we are in the adolescence age, right? We are all growing up, and we see our elders having contempt to this person or that person, and then political messaging has become so very often. So we generally lose the perspective of Shraddha in our day-to-day lives. So until or unless we have respect and devotion and faith in the existing knowledge, in the existing people with whom we are working, in our textbooks for that matter. अरे यार एनसीईआरटी में कुछ नहीं रहता यार, वो फलानी बुक लाएंगे तब जाके वो नीट क्रैक होगा. This kind of a gossiping culture is out there. I think Dr. Surbi is smiling. Yes, there are advanced level of books, but then we will go grade by grade level. We will go level by level. So I think let
Yes.
her come through.
And let me tell you, for the NEET, for your fundamentals, NCRT is truly exceptional. It is truly the fundamental core, and every word of NCRT, is something to be devoured upon, to be studied, to be revered, to be studied with so much intent to decipher what is the meaning in intended. Every single sentence, paragraph means so much. So ponder upon it, wait, hold on. When you get a new concept, think over it, mull over it, visualize it in your mind, as I said earlier. Draw your mind maps, and you will love this subject. NCRT is really, truly a lovely book, and the best book to understand your biology, especially.
And one more thing I would like to just bring in over here, that any advanced learning, it happens through the medium of language. We still don't have got a kind of Wi-Fi transfer. Where a teacher that used to be a vidya in the ancient times, when Rishi Vishwamitra transmitted his knowledge to Lord Rama of his advanced. So that was a different technique, perhaps. But at least today we have to go through these textbooks and through the instrument of language. And perhaps your language teachers would have done a phenomenal job in your life, but if you are still weak somewhere in your linguistics, especially in your vocabulary, just try to have your dictionary, whatever you have. Better would be to have a Cambridge and Oxford standard ones, the bulky. And apart from the biology textbooks, you need to have a dictionary, because this is your time to really do the plastering over your knowledge where you before you enter any med school, so that your language really comes up at a decent level. Because I tell you, when you come to the med school, you have to read a block of foreign authors, and when they express in flowery languages the same concept and precept. It has to be expressed in an elaborate fashion, and that's where the knowledge index retains. We are not asking you to become literary figures, but then as medicos, you have to even write reports, you have to study, you have to create a kind of a knowledge framework in your own cerebral space. So having a profound linguistic proficiency is vital, and especially in the domain of biology. And medicinal books are very, very dense. If you will read Harrison's, Nelson's, the entire battery of sons, the books, if you will master all through a medical career, I think this advice will go a long way. And don't become feel odd. There is a first time for everything. Oh, I missed it out. No wonder. Let me do it now. So that is the attitude, that is the learner's attitude, that is the growth mindset we have to acquire and adopt in going further and forward. Dr. Sudhi.
Also would like to add in that in any new terms, if you are coming across, there's something called as epistemology. The root of the word, if the meaning of the root then you can decipher the meaning of the entire word. So there are two roots, say, in a word. Say, we have a term, photosynthesis. So photosynthesis, what does it mean? So of course, it is a production of food, in the plants. So with the help of light, sunlight, synthesizing the food. So epistemology talks about the meaning of the roots of the words, and then you'll have no problem when you will have, word combinations wherein the roots are getting combined. You'll be able to
So
land at the meaning
we will be
easier,
coming to you with
easily.
that epistemology, especially the medical, the technical part of it. I was talking more about the general linguistic proficiency, which
Yes,
somehow we'll try to dump in our early educational years. Because
absolutely.
anyone who has a very profound linguistic proficiency, he or she would have it would be like
Easy sailing.
leisure
Yes.
to sail through these books, and you will love reading that because these are dense technical literature. It's not a some Mr. Blyton's novel. It's a textbook which is dense, and each sentence, each paragraph would have a potential question which might be asked in the NEET examination. So one of the teaching we will say tips, because it's not a longhand examination. So we'll like say at least have three colored pens with you, a black one, a blue one, and a red one. If you can have a green or a pink one, it's fine. But let's RGB, we can start having it. The basic colors, the primary colors, at least our knowledge will get applied as well. And try to make your textbook as a working book. Write down your name on the front of it all in your signature style. Own up your book, because that's where the first level of study starts happening. Own up your book. And wherever you find any speed breaker in your learning road, mark it with a black one or a red one. Try to create your own color symphony. We will try to come with a formal structure with that, but we would like to leave it to each of the learners. Have experimentation. Red is generally when your teachers do a red mark, it looks very painful as students growing up. So make your own color coding, and try to use all these vacant spaces to make your micro notes, how to make notes, how to mind maps, small stuff, and then have additional post-its or things like that. Have additional registers, but then you have to work this book out, especially on the biological space. In physics and chemistry, obviously, a lot of numericals have to be solved. That's a different matter altogether. Biology, it comes from the theory and its applications into the multiple contexts. We will see that going on. So, Unit 4th and Unit 5 is all about human physiology. And I think this has a direct connect with the one or two subjects, Dr. Surbi.
Yes, of course,
In the
physiology,
medical space, yeah.
anatomy, even, because you're studying the structure of the various human systems. The first prof of the medical studies is directly matching up and mapping up with
So we can
this.
say a lot of medical specializations come from each of these chapters, like breathing and exchange of gases comes with the respiratory system, which I
Yes.
think doctors of pulmonology, if you just Google it out on your, and you have a mobile, there is no dearth of it all. And friends, to start with this nurturing for need programs, I would like to say now you're at an advanced stage, and you can show it to your parents as well. Oh, Papa, Mama, if they have some reservations, pick out some six or seven, a dozen odd medical series which are all there on the OTT platforms, and like Good Doctor for that matter. So these are the try to pick up the try to fall in love with the profession, because the profession you want to really champion. So if you have to watch any movie, watch a movie or a web series which is connected with a medical profession. At least because these OTT platforms, these web series, whatever they come through a lot of certification, they come through a lot of research, and they give a lot of real world examples. Not all of you would be endowed having parents as doctors or maybe the relatives as doctors. Many of you would be the first generation ones coming from tier 2 tier 3 towns for that matter. Very aspirational kids would be watching this nurturing for NEET program from the Arogyam Institute of Integrated Medical Sciences. So with OTT and recreation to chahiye na, uska naam hi hai recreation. In order to create, I have to recreate my own self. So start watching, make it an agenda as a part of your nurturing for NEET program that I have to finish off these series, and take out the best content from there. There might be something adult. You are on the verge of adulthood as well, adolescence and adulthood. You can leave that, skip it out. That's a personal choice. We all watch it any which ways for that matter. And being biology students, many of these subject matters we would be studying as an academic discipline. So कोई वर्जना की बात नहीं है. But then when you will be watching it from the management perspective, from the extreme pressure in which medical professionals work, the team effort they do it, the kind of relay processes in a surgical, if you watch a lot of things, you can observe a lot of things out there. I think that will ease it, that will grease this entire monotonicity of academic learning and really make it a very learning and affable experience. And now body fluids and circulation. I think the whole hematology domain of the medical sciences, it accrues from here. So, and then hematology has got multiple super and very smaller specializations like oncohematology, blood cancers we generally face through it. Then pediological oncohematology. So if you will see, we will present pediatric. So medical sciences goes to the very nuts and bolts of it. So as a part of this program, we will make you observant to that also. Then excretory products and their elimination. Then digestive system, the gastroenterology, they say it, the whole gastro system which is out there. Then locomotion and movement, the muscles, skeletal, the orthopedics, we can say so, the neural control and coordination, the entire neuro, and then you have neurosurgeons, and then you have got neurologists, and then you've got psychiatrists. So we will try to have trivia out here as to how these disciplines they interface and interact. This is what makes learning from the grandmaster like Dr. Surbi, who would be guiding us all through in this program. Then chemical coordination and integration. So it is a part of biochemistry, which you will be studying as a part of Prof 1, Prof 2, whatever. Pathology for that matter. If you choose to become the biggest brands like pathology brands like Dr. Lal's, Mankind Pharma, whole lot of pathology chains are coming through. So without pathology, a doctor cannot function. Without the
endocrinology especially also.
The hormones, yes. Thyroid है मेरे को. हम घर में बहुत कुछ colloquially सुनते हैं. So try to have a diary, have a register, and one more tip, teaching tip, or I will say कि 1 दर्जन 2 दर्जन रजिस्टर ले आओ. हर बार जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Go to a थोक market and get 1 दर्जन 2 दर्जन registers and some oddies stickers, because आजकल बड़े covers are very चिकना. तो उन covers पे various subjects and various experimentations के लिए try to make it across the colloquial, a kind of a curiosity register you can create. You might have heard something out there, but then human memory is very short. So write it down. Oh, what does it mean? So this will help you to interlink your knowledge graph very, very beautifully. Then coming further, I think this is what these are 5 units which are in class 11th. So we will be covering 5 units and in all 19 chapters. So we don't know how much modules or sessions we will be requiring. We will be just recording them across for you in a very simplistic fashion. We'll be reading paragraph after paragraphs, sentences after sentences, phrases after phrases, a kind of a legal reading we will be making it. If some of your parents or anyone are lawyers, this is how the lawyers read the IPC, which is now the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So the law codes, how they are read, I think that is where it all comes through. And the next session would be all about a note for the teachers and students. We will be really devouring it through this dense material as to what all is out there in this program for you. And this is acknowledgement, so I think you can read it up. That's a part of the ceremonialities of writing a book. But try to see if you have some acquaintances over here, what kind of people. We will try to cover it up quickly, not in so much of depth. Now just see the kind of members who have developed this TDC, the Textbook Development Committee. So it's not a single author or two author. It's a whole galaxy of eminents who have just come through. So we will be touching on the rationalization of the content in the next session, along with the note and all. So, and forward also we will be covering it across. So we will go in a very unconventional, backward and forward kind of an approach, so that we can decomplicate these learnings. The only thing is you just have to devour through. Even you can keep your eyes shut, listen to what we are saying. There used to be a paradigm in the Indic tradition where we used to have people, our students used to be Shrutidhar. Shruti means sunana, to listen. The out of the five senses, listening is so very central to learning, because whatever we listen, we can speak it out. So listening is primarily, then reading and writing is the another pair of it all. So listen it, listening is important. And just by listening, a lot of you can memorize if you are in a meditative state of mind. We'll start our next sessions with a bit of meditation also, so that a parampara comes into play, where uh, we relax our mind, we go into an alpha state, a fascinated state of mind. Again, it's an application of biology, it's an application of medical sciences to be able to study medical sciences. So I think Dr. Surbi, closing words, and we will close the inaugural session with that. Yeah.
So, nurturing for NEET, you are the learner and you are the educator yourself, you know. So, we are just facilitating and helping you, guiding you. There is a great learner in you, there is a great educator in you. Motivate yourself, educate yourself, and immerse yourself in this journey, in this study. And mind you, me, believe you me, you will love it, you'll enjoy it. It's a passionate field which will be with you, your greatest strength all your life, something you will treasure, something you will cherish, to be a healer, to heal others, and empathy, compassion, passion, excellence. These are the driving keywords. These are the attributes. I'm sure you have all of them. The day you decided to be a doctor was the greatest day of your life. All the best from both of us.
Thank you. So we'll be back again with the next session. Stay tuned. Namaskar.